Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing this afternoon? How's the weather in Joburg? A nice relief from yesterday, hey? Huge relief. Huge relief. I must say, it's getting a bit much now, but yeah. Alright, little bit of housekeeping. Wow. Lots of comments. Hindo's asking how I'm feeling. I'm feeling good. Just had a lot on my mind lately, so haven't really felt in the space to come online and talk a lot of nonsense, really. So that's where I've been. I have no idea where Totenkopf is. No idea. I should actually message him when I'm done, yeah. Nigel, no, you are welcome. This is not an invasion at all. Welcome back. Thank you, Behave. I've missed you guys too. I have missed streaming. Hello, Gentle. Yes, we're all doing well. Just, yeah. There's been a lot going on at home. Well, not. I don't know, it's really hard to put my finger on it. Hello, anti-Marxist. For those who don't know me, don't worry, I'm a dangerous nobody, Nigel says. Okay, we'll take you at your word. We're very accepting here. Oh gosh, huge jump in the comments there, sorry. Where is the rest of the cabal? I have no idea. Hello, my beautiful Gentle, how are you doing? Yeah, you still at the farm? You enjoying it? Yes. Yeah, it's the weather is rather strange for Joburg at the moment, but it's to be expected. Hello, JC. Yeah, we haven't seen you on these here streets for a while. How are you doing? Hello, Adam. Dylan's sunburnt in Cape Town, so yeah, I suppose that's normal for this time of year. What's cracking with you? It's unscrewed. Yes, everybody, if you haven't done so already, please like the video. It does help drive viewership. I have lost a few subscribers because I haven't been consistent. So it seems to be that 350 subscribers is the glass ceiling that I need to break now. So, yeah. I know Toten's okay. I know. Well, I assumed he's okay. Ed has also had a creative block of late. Yeah, it's been a bit sucky. So he's also battling to do shows. But please, if you can, go and subscribe to his channel. Because when he does start streaming again, I can guarantee you that it will be worth your sub. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, Gentle. Gentle is a Hungarian Sappho Farm gypsy girl, is the word on the street. Yes, we are doing great. Thank you, JC. I don't have a Gab or a MeWe account. So that's part and parcel of where I've been for the last, gosh, I think it's been a week since I streamed actually. Is like how to deal with the whole thing that's going on with social media and how to handle that, and what I want to do moving forward. Like, do I just want to remove myself off social media completely and only have a Telegram account and only market through Telegram and rely on word of mouth and the YouTube algorithm or anything like that? Or do I want to keep on doing it as I was doing it, seeing stuff on, posting stuff on Twitter and stuff like that? And the thing is, I'm still thinking about it. Honestly, I'm still thinking about it. And yeah. I think there are dangers looking at the privacy or the right to your privacy of your personal information. I think there are dangers to that, and I don't honestly see a way out at this stage because of how entrenched in our life technology is. Like, if you think about it, just using all the Google products is already a huge invasion into your privacy. So yeah, I haven't decided. I just have not decided. You are welcome, Adam.
You're obviously sitting in front of your laptop.
Mareka is remarking at all the spanners. Yeah, I need to try something. I think there's a way that you can have someone be an approved user on a channel without giving them a spanner, so they're still able to post links if you want them to, but they don't have moderator privileges or duties or anything like that. So I don't know. Gentle's enjoying JC's Twitter posts, and yes, I do miss Twitter for that reason. I'll be honest. Hendo doesn't do Twitter. Yeah, it's SA, danger is everywhere. Yeah, and I think that's why I'm like even more guarded with my privacy. Like, I don't want to have to share stuff unnecessarily, because you just don't know. Criminals are getting more and more clever every single day. So, just saying. Apparently, Musica is closing down. Yeah, that. I think that was a long time in the making. Since the advent of iTunes and the iTunes Store and Spotify and all of these other music streaming platforms, nobody's buying physical albums anymore. So it's unfortunate, and it's the end of an era. But I think the writing was on the wall for a long time. So Telegram is mental, the Chris Wyatt group. I actually left the Chris Wyatt group. I just found that I wasn't reading anything in the group, and it was just a notification that I had to get rid of. So yeah, I'm at the point where if something's not adding value to my life anymore, I'm just not going to be part of it. And unfortunately, that group just wasn't adding value to my life. So yeah. Nothing against the members or Chris Wyatt or anything like that, the moderators, anything. I just wasn't reading the messages. Um,
If you just drag this
so why be part of it?
bar in the window,
Uh,
drag it
Gentle's confirming the news about Musica.
right.
It had been in the news that they were going to close down, not Nigel. So
Or did it move?
Steve has also decided to get out of some social media, i.e. Telegram, some groups getting too hectic with QBS. Admin spamming the group, up to 600 messages in a few hours, had enough. Yeah, that can be annoying,
Okay, so
to say the least.
if you grab that screen,
Um,
drag it back. It's going to sound weird, but it does pick
Y-
up the size of
yeah,
the screen. So you'll have to move it to sort of the middle of that.
I'm trying to be
Move it back to your laptop.
tactful, but sorry, the birds are screeching, and so the Labrador is barking, and it's very annoying.
You
um,
can just close display settings, yeah?
as for the QBS, yes, it has become apparent that it was a load of bullshit, and a lot of people were duped by it, and I think that's disgusting, and I now need to go get a dog to shut up.
Display settings. You can change it around.
Oi! That's enough! No!
Okay. Because like I say, those two little screens you saw, you can drag one whichever side you prefer.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I do believe that a lot of people were. It's okay. A lot of people were given misleading information, and they acted on that, and it led to a lot of shit going down in the US and other places possibly as well. And yeah, I think, look, are there groups of evil people doing evil things? Yes. But, like, don't take everything QAnon says so seriously. Like, just don't. In fact, Nigel puts it, Q was like modern preachers. Yes. They were like evangelists. It was frightening the way they got people caught up in a whole bunch of nonsense. Yeah, shame. Shame. Mulpit, why are people so worried about their privacy online lately? There's never been privacy. Your info has always been collected. I think they're just being more obvious now with it, and the way that Facebook has acquired other companies such as Instagram and WhatsApp, and then gone back on agreements that they had with those companies about what information will be collected from one platform and then shared with another, and blah blah. And I think that's just all coming to a head now, which is making people second guess their decisions to support those platforms or be on those platforms. And yeah, I think people are really starting to think about how their information is being gathered, used, and stored. And I think it is a bit of a case of closing the stable doors after the horse is bolted, like long after the horse is bolted. But I'm glad that people are waking up to it more and more, and perhaps being a little bit more circumspect about how much time and how much information they actually punch into the little devices that are in their hands constantly. You know, all of these, was a QAnon that came up with the vaccine is going to have a microchip in it. Like, they don't need to put a microchip in an injection. They don't need to track you that way, because you willingly carry around a tracking device every single day. Every single day. So, yeah. Dylan says he's getting dimmer. Okay. Look and listen. I do remember that name. JC's wondering who would buy over the Musica stock. That's interesting. I have indeed been using the Clicks card at Engine. I was very upset when they changed from Shell to Engine last year sometime. But I have been trying to remember to use the card and try to remind hubby as well to use it when he fills up. And that he should try and fill up at Engine rather than anywhere else. Hold on. No, Nelson. No, it's just a truck. Q is real, just like every other letter in the alphabet. Yeah. I do. That's why I have to have such a big purse. It's awful. Yeah, this is what annoys me about all these loyalty programs. Is like every year the agreements change. So one year, if you fill up at Engine, then you get Edgar's club points. If you then now this year it's it clicks and I can't keep up. Like, yeah. Most of the time. I have to talk 3 times at least, though, before he listens. I wish my neighbors would get their dogs to shut up. They haven't even been home for a few weeks. Dogs just get fed by some other person. Well, you see, that's why the dogs are barking. Because they're bored. They don't have anyone to play with. They're probably in a little bit of distress because they don't know if anybody's ever going to come home and play with them. Like, I don't know. In our house, the dogs are another child. They sleep inside. They get treated like another family member. Just obviously not one with human needs and human cognitive ability. But yeah, they're part of the family. They're not just something that we keep outside to hopefully scare off burglars. That's just wrong. Yeah. Wait, soon it will happen. Yeah, I was hearing this from so many different people before the inauguration, and yeah. Hello, Lloyd, welcome back. Hello, Kyle, welcome back. Gentles says Pick and Pay is her best loyalty card, just saying. I don't actually have a Pick and Pay card, and I really should get one because I really do like their clothes, and we buy quite a bit there in terms of clothes, and we just use my mom's card, and then anyway. Hello, William. I'm sorry, I haven't even got onto the topic yet, and it's already 4:05. I've already been streaming for 20 minutes, and I have not even touched on the actual topic yet, and I'm gonna get there, I promise. There was just a lot of housekeeping to catch up on. People have missed me. Remember Recordia in Sanson? I used to work there at the back of the shop where the hi-fi were sold. I don't remember that at all. Malpit's neighbors don't give their dogs any attention. I'd be literally I'd literally heard the woman say the kids wanted them when they were young, but now they're over it. I cannot contain my anger at that statement. Like, I can't. So we got Labradonkey after a year of me wanting a Labrador, and there was a lot of stuff going on in terms of, were we going to carry on living in this country? Was my husband possibly going to get a job somewhere else in Africa, and things like that? And then COVID happened, and we pretty much learned very quickly which countries we don't want to live in anymore. And we also, the other job opportunities fell away because, as we all know, the hospitality industry has been hit the hardest by this. And I mean, overall, in terms of how hard specific industries have been hit, I think the hospitality industry has taken the biggest knock. And so, of course, working somewhere else in Africa just wasn't going to happen because tourism just isn't happening. So when Nelson came up for adoption, it was kind of like a no-brainer. We decided to take him. So there we go. That's the story about Nelson. The topic at hand is one that will really damage the sport. Indeed. Women's sport is going to see a lot of controversy. Hello, Mr. Punisher. You have not missed any of the topic. I've been doing housekeeping, catching up with everybody. As you know, I haven't streamed for a week, so, it's just been meeting and greeting in a virtual, socially distant, acceptable to the government manner, and we're going to head straight into the topic now. Except just, tourism is dead globally, and yes, so we are grateful every single day that my husband still has his job. We do not take that for granted, given everything that is going on. So, alrighty, let us head into the topic. And the reason, it's like I didn't know what to stream about. Like I said at the beginning, I have been thinking a lot about a lot of things, and I haven't really been keeping up with current affairs. I haven't really been doing much research at all or anything like that. And so I sat down in front of my laptop today, and I decided, and I was going through my emails, and I got an email about a piece that Abigail Schreier wrote. Now, for those of you who don't know, Abigail Schreier wrote a book that was released around July, August last year. It was called... Wait, I don't want to get it wrong. She's not happy with the title. So... Irreversible Damage. So her publisher chose the title, and she's not happy about it because it does sound a bit weird. So here is the link to the book on Amazon.com. If you can, rather don't buy it through Amazon though. Rather try and find it somewhere else. I know the publishers were selling it directly at one stage, and at a 50% discount as well. This was the book that, after 2 people complained on Twitter, Target took it off the shelf, and then it got sold out. Because people were like, well, why? Why is this book so inflammatory? Why do you want it cancelled? Let us go read it. And so it got sold out. And as a result, she cancelled a whole bunch of shows. Because she was like basically doing a virtual book tour, and so she cancelled going on a whole bunch of podcasts, waiting for the book to be back in print, back in stock, and everything. And anyway, she is accepting podcast interviews again even though there is not a lot of stock. However, you can get it on Kindle. But like I said, rather don't support Amazon because they have also been suppressing the book. But there is the link meantime. So like I say, she's not happy about the subtitle, the transgender craze seducing our daughters. But irreversible damage, it definitely is. So Abigail wrote an article this week on Biden's executive order. And actually, let me post the link to this. I did post the link in the Telegram group as well. So there you go. This is for people that are not in the Telegram group and are watching on other platforms as well besides YouTube. So she wrote this piece, and in it she says, I'm actually just going to share it. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it is quite a long piece. But there are some important notes that I think we need to talk about. So let's just see. Okay. So that is showing nicely on the screen, and now I can bring up my other instance and we can read it together. Biden's gender ideology executive order just about inclusion. Don't believe it. Expect the Biden administration to hide behind the word inclusion. Expect the useful idiots in our media to insist that this will have no effect on girls' opportunities and women's sports. They will claim for good measure that testosterone levels of trans-identified natal males can be brought within female range, thus leveling the playing field. Don't believe any of it. While levels of bioactive testosterone can be altered, the organizational effects of testosterone rendered at the time of male puberty are massive and permanent. If you care about inclusion, you insist that boys' teams accommodate and welcome all biological boys, regardless of identification. If you force girls' teams to include male bodies, well, then you have only one goal: the end of girls' sports. Okay. Joe Biden's first day began the end of girls' sports. And it's true. This is not... Amid Inauguration Day talk of shattered glass ceilings on Wednesday, President Biden delivered a body blow to the rights of women and girls, the executive order on preventing and combating discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. On day one, so he put this like right at the top of his agenda. Talk about signaling to the woke. Mr. Biden placed all girls' sports and women's safe spaces in the crosshairs of the administrative state. The order declares children should be able to learn without worrying about whether they will be denied access to the restroom, the locker room, or school sports. All persons should receive equal treatment under the law, no matter their gender identity or sexual orientation. The order purports to direct administrative agencies to begin promulgating regulations that would enforce the Supreme Court's 2020 decision, Bostock v. Clayton County. In fact, it goes much further. Okay, I'm not going to dig too much into that one. But there is here. It should come as no surprise then that the two trans-identified biological males permitted to compete in Connecticut state track finals against girls, neither of whom was a top sprinter as a boy, consistently claimed top spots competing as girls. They eliminated girls from advancement to regional championships, scouting and scholarship opportunities and trophies. They set records no girl may ever equal. How big is this performance gap? To take one example cited by the Connecticut female runners in the complaint against the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference, the fastest female sprinter in the world is American runner Allison Felix. a woman with more gold medals than Usain Bolt. Her lifetime best for the 400-meter run is 49.26 seconds. Based on 2018 data, nearly 300 high school boys in the US alone could beat it. High school boys, not even at Olympic level yet. So, yes, this executive order is going to spell the end of girls' sports. This transgender craze is, honestly, it feels like it's an eradication of women. That's what it feels like. This is not about equality. This is about eradicating women. And it makes me sick. I just want to see who has comments on what I just read. So as I said, the article I have linked in the live chat, I will link it again. I should probably add it to the video description as well, so that people can go and read that. And Abigail Schreier really has taken the torch on this. This exact video, this live stream is probably going to be flagged. It's probably going to get taken down. I'll be surprised if I don't get cancelled over talking about this. So just so you know. One has to question the Democrats' priorities. Do they really care about making America better? Then why are they wasting their time impeaching a president that has left office and doing stupid things like this? Yes, I agree. It is disgusting. Going to see Mursakak in contact sports. Going to see. I'm sorry. I don't have the exact fight that I can point anybody in a direction, but I have heard Joe Rogan talk about this. There was a trans woman, so in other words, a biological male that fought against a actual female in an MMA fight, and he broke her skull. The biological male that was fighting in a woman's category broke their opponent's skull. And it really is not fair in biological aspects of the human body. Indeed. In sport, you have male leagues, female leagues, para leagues. Why not introduce a trans league? Or is it not PC? No, it's not PC. Because, we have to just accept that there is a range of genders, and gender can be fluid, and gender is not binary, and you can identify as however you like. And do I need to go on? And eradicating male toxicity. Abigail Schreier has already been labeled transphobic, and I have been called transphobic by a friend. Yeah. So, an agenda at play to undermine women. I agree. It'll be interesting watching biological males do the beam in gymnastics. That actually, as a gymnast, I'd actually love to see biological males doing floor routines to music. And I this is going to sound so awful and probably a little bit racist or xenophobic or whatever, but I imagine that watching a biological male do a floor routine to music, so it involves a bit of dance moves, and even beam, it involves quite a bit of grace as a ballerina type grace and movement. It's probably going to be a lot like watching the Asian gymnasts compete, because they really struggle with that musical element of gymnastics. So yeah, this would be ideal. It won't be pretty to watch men literally beating up women in contact sports. This is disturbing. Exactly. And the troubling thing is, it has already happened, and yet Biden still signed this executive order. So, oh gosh, this is funny. Carl's talking about the fight that I mentioned. Malpit's also a gymnast. So there we go. Steve is too old to give an F what people think. It's true. Isn't this executive order a soft form of legalizing abuse? I think technically no. However, it will definitely be abusive towards women competing in contact sports, especially. Other than that, I don't know. I don't actually know what to say. See all my people here, gymnasts. Yeah. So I'm quite passionate on this topic, and I have read Abigail Schreier's book, and I want to get her on my show as well. I know Chris Wyatt is also trying. I believe the more conversations we have with Abigail Schreier, the better. The more we get this information out there, the better. She has really delved into this work ideology around trans and gender identification and all of that. So I'd really like to talk to her on that. She's done a lot of interviews, and she's getting better and better at doing them. I listened to one of her first interviews, which she did with Bridget Fetisi in July or August. And then I listened to another interview that she did with Dave Rubin just before Christmas. And wow. Like, she has upped her game. So now I need to up my game before I have her on as well. Because, yeah. But, okay, so why does this mean so much to me? Right, so you all know that I homeschool my children. And for a while, we actually tried a homeschooling philosophy called unschooling. Not going to dig too deep into that. But there is one woman called Sandra Dodd, who basically is like a front and center authority on unschooling. She's lived the lifestyle for probably close to 30 years, if not more. She has blogged about her experiences for many, many years, and her website, whilst very basic, is very searchable and is just a treasure trove of information. And I've always felt quite inspired by a lot of her quotes. So the one day I took a meme that had been, one of her quotes had been turned into a meme, and I shared it in the South African unschooling group. And the leader of South African unschooling said to me, yeah, Sandra Dodd is great, but she's transphobic. So it's like, so I sat with that for a little bit, I'm sitting there with my phone in my hands like this, and I'm like, I at that stage, I had read everything that I possibly could that Sandra Dodd had written. And trust me, it wasn't even a tenth of what she had actually written. But I'd read quite a bit now. I was part of her Facebook group as well. And she just never really came across as a super judgy, transphobic type of person. She was always very accepting, spoke a lot, because unschooling it's a philosophy about letting children make their own decisions to the extreme. And which is why we don't unschool anymore, just by the by. And she never struck me as a transphobe, but it seems like anything that goes against the mainstream or the woke narrative is now transphobic or homophobic or whatever, you know. Like your gay friend that you've always affectionately called a poofter, you know, like Freddie Mercury, or no, it was Elton John that referred to himself as a poofter. You know, if that was acceptable language between you and your friend for many, many years, now that's like, no, that's homophobic. You know, you can't say that at all anymore. And so anyway, I like asked, I said, okay, what makes you say that Sandra Dodd is a transphobe? Doesn't seem right, you know. She's very much for, you know, just not judging children for their decisions, you know, just let them figure stuff out in a safe environment. Make the environment safe for them, and they can figure it out. Okay. Yeah. I was linked to a public shaming of Sandra Dodd, saying that she was putting children at risk for making these outlandish claims and everything. And I was tagged in a few screenshots of conversations where Sandra Dodd had said some quite obviously transphobic things, but I couldn't find proof of it. And quite honestly, I mean, you know, I could have photoshopped her name and said, yeah, she said this in her group. And apparently Sandra Dodd and another unschooling mom had started a group that was against the affirmation model of transgender therapy. And what is the affirmation model? So the affirmation model is where you know, as soon as a child says, okay, well, you know, I think I identify as X, not Y, then you say, okay, yes, you know, you do, that is your identity, and you just affirm it all the way. And so begins a lifelong course of hormonal therapy and all of these things. And Sandra Dodd and this other mom, who apparently did have a child that desisted from transitioning, they prefer the watchful waiting approach, which was accepted in therapy for very, very, very many years. And if you speak to someone like Buck Angel, who is an out trans man, was born a girl, lived as a woman, felt out of place in their body their whole life, and transitioned eventually in adult life, they will say that this is a very long, very painful process that comes with very high risks, and that is not being adopted in therapy models at all. And I do believe that we are going to start seeing some really awful instances where adults that started transition before puberty, in other words, were given puberty blockers, which they'll tell you are safe, but they're really not. Puberty blockers can cause infertility and cause genitals not to grow properly after you stop taking them. So It's not great. So anyway, that is the very long story about how I was thrust into this culture war, and I do believe that it is something that we need to be aware of, and we need to start fighting back against. It's a huge topic, and the scope is just so wide, and I just don't even know where to begin trying to explain it to people that this is new to. So let's take a break and have a look at the comments that have been ticking along lovely. I really do appreciate the interaction here, and if everybody can please just make sure they've liked the video, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. You know, Biden immediately contradicted his speech he gave in the first few hours of becoming president. To be honest, I didn't really pay it much attention. I didn't. I heard on the news about this executive order, and like I say, I was going through my emails, and I got this email from Abigail Schreier's website, and decided to do a show about it. Indeed. In the 90s, it was dance music, very weird psychedelic dance music, and in 2021, it's a whole different meaning. And my husband has quite a funny trance joke as well. I think this undermines women and undermines masculinity, to be honest. For example, Caitlyn Jenner said that the hardest part about being a woman was choosing what clothes to wear. Oh, God. Yeah. Well, a man that becomes a woman would think that that is the hardest thing about being a woman, because physically, Caitlyn Jenner is able to probably outrun and outfight any attacker. So, yeah. Oh my word. You see, this is what happens when Kris Jenner decides to divorce you and you're no longer relevant. So, okay. Yeah. So don't get me started on Caitlyn Jenner. In my day, you were either a boy in a dress or a drag queen. Can't see the difference these days. Just the title that got updated. Well, no. Because there are still people that identify as drag queens or transvestites. You know, they are men that dress up as women. But they are men that dress up as women. They still live their lives as men, and then occasionally for a show or to make money or whatever they do, they've decided to dress as a woman. There is a difference, and that's still accepted. And the ones who sided with getting rid of Trump now must sit with the consequences of siding with the radical left. All the folks Biden is assigning to his house is radical left, yeah. Oh, it's frightening. Frightening. I think it was something that came up in the book, and I think it's come up on one of my streams or on somebody else's show, where somebody has said that their gay friends actually do not abide by this stuff at all. At all. The fight is not for equality. The fight is against traditional roles in the family, against the family culture, the church, and anything which makes one feel part of a group. Indeed. Indeed. And you know, you can't opt out of gender ideology education in America. In America, you can opt out of sex education, okay? Which I think for some families maybe is the correct choice, because they don't want their kids learning it at a certain age. I don't believe in kids learning everything there is to know about that at too young an age. I think it should be a parental approach, although parents just aren't parenting that much anymore, which is why we sit with the problem that we do. So, I don't think there's a simple answer to that question. But you cannot opt out of this gender ideology education because it is taught under the anti-bullying label, and you can't opt out of that because you're a bully if you do. So yeah, there's that. You guys are being a bit like suspect in the comments about the three genders, gentle and Hindu, and yeah. Just, that's a very fine line, like even for me. Just saying. Sweden is actually very radical with trans community. It's insane how they're trying to eradicate masculinity. Wow, that's interesting to know. This is what happens when humans exceed their capacity in believing they're intellectual. Yeah. The whole world is going radical with all this trans stuff. It's very woke. Very woke. I bullied a lot for half of my life. I was bullied a lot for half of my life for being different than other boys. I survived, thrived, wised up myself. No special treatment required. That is incredible to hear from Ashley. I can only imagine how awful it must have been for you growing up. I know that there were guys in my year at school that probably were gay. I don't have contact with very many people from school at all anymore because I wasn't like one of the popular kids either, and I didn't really fit in, and I didn't really toe the line. So yeah. But I know that there were guys in my year that were teased for being a little bit effeminate, and some of them are married to women now, and some of them I don't know what's happened to them, and some of them are gay, openly gay, and yeah, like just be nice, just be lekker, just be lekker. Can we not just be lekker? Like, we don't have to make everything a big identity thing. Like, just be lekker. And then it's all cool. Since when are 3-year-olds allowed to make life-altering decisions that will impact their future in every way? Most kids want to be mermaids or dragons when they grow up. Yes, actually, so Ramon from Morning Shots, we spoke about this at the braai that we had when Joe was up here. And he said, like, seriously, my daughter identifies as a helicopter. Like a helicopter. Like, what does a 3-year-old know? They identify as a helicopter. I'm like, yeah, kids that identify as unicorns, we don't go and permanently stitch rainbow manes on them and like have a horn affixed to their forehead, because that would just be ridiculous. But no, they can choose what gender they are. And it comes down to nature versus nurture as well. In a lot of cases, nature really does lead the way. It leads the way. So, bye-bye, gentle. Enjoy feeding the animals and putting them to bed. It's really crazy what's going on. They're going to change the whole school structure in the future. Kids are going to be taught things they're not ready for. They already are being taught things that they're not ready for. They are indeed. Sounds very familiar. Sighs deeply. What sounds very familiar? People sometimes think Ramon is gay. It's very funny. I must say, I also thought he might be gay until he said he was married and has a daughter. I can tell you, like, the only reason why people think Ramon is gay is because he is always well groomed and well presented. That is the only reason why. And because, like, you know, he dresses smart. He cares about his appearance. And that is why people think he's gay. That's what I think. I never for 1 second thought that he was. Not at all. Yeah. The problem we have is a group of people who wish to control others using moral dialect as the vehicle. Yes. And you know, even the truly trans people, because there is, okay, I'm not saying that trans does not exist at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not a denialist on it at all. But it does exist, and there are people like Buck Angel. Go and follow him on Twitter. I think he's on other platforms as well. He has a YouTube channel as well. Go and watch the things that he says. And the names don't spring to mind. It does happen, but not to the extent that it's happening now. And it's like Abigail Schreier's book says, it's a certain category of girls that, like when I was growing up, probably would have been anorexic. When the generation, like 10 years after me, were growing up, probably would have been cutters. You know, it's girls that don't quite fit in. They have a few mental health problems, and yeah, they go to social media. They turn to social media for help, and boom, you must be trans. You don't feel comfortable in your life. You don't feel comfortable in your body. You know, it's not fun being a teenage girl, okay? It's not fun entering puberty, okay? I'm sure guys can let us know as well. It's not fun. So to just like say that just because, you know, you're finding teenagehood, entering puberty, difficult, to diagnose that as gender dysphoria is just insane. Javier Rue says, "Afternoon, ma'am. I believe these are social constructs on identity. Scandinavia had a social experiment on gender equity, and the gender roles actually went more black and white, male and female, than expected." Exactly. I believe Jordan Peterson refers to that example quite a bit. Sorry, this chat is way too little character spaces to type backstory. No, it's cool. That's cool. I understand 200 characters is very limited. Not all dapper gentlemen are gay. Exactly. Not all dapper gentlemen are gay. Like, just because you care about how you look and how you dress and, you know, your public image, like, that doesn't mean you're gay. Honestly. Romani is well groomed and seems sophisticated, comes across as gay. Like, why? How? Why? So is Gareth Cliff gay then too? Because he's also well groomed. I mean, he has makeup put on his face every week for his TV show. Does that make him gay? Yeah. Notice how the term tomboy and tomgirl have virtually disappeared, because today they are told that they are trapped in the wrong body, although most of them grow out of it. Exactly. And this is a whole watchful waiting approach. This actually brings to mind Kira Bell. Do yourself a favor, after the stream, go and Google Kira Bell, United Kingdom. Kira Bell was a girl who she's a woman now. However, the seed was planted that maybe she was transgender. She was referred to this Tavistock clinic on the NHS in the UK. She was started along a course of transitioning medicine. So at first it was puberty blockers, although she was 16 at the time, had already entered puberty. They were trying to reverse the puberty, then testosterone, then had a double mastectomy, and only then realized, hang on a minute, maybe I don't actually identify as male. And so is in the process of detransitioning. Obviously, she has done irreversible damage to her body. She talks openly about vaginal atrophy. I really hope that they'll be able to reverse the effects of that, because that must really have devastating consequences for her. I can't imagine how awful she must feel on a daily basis. But the other thing is, she's never going to grow her breasts back. Yeah, maybe she can go for plastic surgery, which NHS is not going to pay for, by the way. Maybe she can go for reconstructive surgery, but she'll never have functioning breasts again. She'll never be able to breastfeed a baby, if she's even able to carry a baby. You know, we just don't know the damage that has been done to her body, the full extent of the damage that has been done to her body. And anyway, yeah, they are appealing the court ruling. However, she did win the first round against Tavistock or the NHS or whatever. And it's quite interesting to follow her story, because all these the woke, the woke and the ideologues, and they put out their I just saw Ashley's comment. I'm just gonna put it on the screen. There we go. The woke so the people that are pro how transgender children are treated at the Tavistock clinic in the UK put out videos, and they're just attacking Kirabel. They're just attacking this woman. Kirabel this and Kirabel that, and one person has changed the trajectory for trans people going forward. All Kirabel wants is that we don't use the affirmation model anymore. We go back to watchful waiting. Watchful waiting. That's what she wants. She doesn't want to end all transitioning completely. She's just like, stop doing this to kids. Stop doing this to kids. That's all she's asking for. So that's Kirabel's thing. Okay. So, where was I? Okay, so they all just like attacking Kirabel. Kirabel said this. Kirabel said that. Her feelings don't matter in this case. And I'm like, this case was heard in a court of law. I think the facts mattered, not Kirabel's feelings. Your feelings are hurt. Okay, but yeah, like, and then you go and listen to Kirabel's story, and she says things like, there was never a psychiatrist or a psychologist in charge of her case. She only spoke to a social worker. The entire time, 5 years that she was under the care of the Tavistock, she never spoke to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. It was only handled by a social worker. Now, I know they write the same degree, but a social worker has less experience than a psychologist and a psychiatrist do. Okay, it's just, that's already an alarm bell ringing. And yeah, she just went for a couple of counseling sessions with this social worker, and she was put on the puberty blockers. And then, of course, the next logical step is testosterone. Testosterone also sorts out a lot of mental issues for a lot of girls, because first of all, it helps redistribute where you carry weight on your body. So, you lose weight on your bum and your tummy and around your face and stuff like that, obviously, because you start getting a more manly face. So you look, it like redistributes everything. It gives you a sense of euphoria, and like you feel like you can take on the world. It changes your energy levels, blah, 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 blah. So like immediately these girls start thinking, oh, this is the answer to my problems, because this is making me feel so much better. Meantime, it's not actually dealing with the mental issues that they have. So yeah, that's another interesting case. And I'm going to try and get hold of Kirabel as well. I think hearing her side of the story is also very important as well. Just to rebut all of the YouTube videos that I watched from these flippin' activists. Whoa. Okay. I just, wait. And he drives a Subaru. Yeah. Gender dysphoria is the technical term, indeed. But I need help. Yeah, too much it. Too much it. Neuter conditioning and not enough he and she anymore. Indeed. Woman appreciates a man putting the effort to look sophisticatedly dressed. Yes, we do appreciate it. We do. So long as he has no he, Trinity God is where this all starts. Just thinking about this before you terminate this statement. Spot. Okay. We discussed this on my first live on this channel. Fitting into stereotypes is totally overrated. I identify as Javier Rue. Nothing more, nothing less. Exactly. You know, we're all just individuals and we all have different things that make us tick. And yeah, you know, just like if you don't like something that somebody's doing, okay, but what they're doing is not hurting anybody else, just leave them alone. Just leave them alone. You don't have to be friends with that person. We don't all have to get along with everybody else. We all have our cliques. We all have our niches. We all have places that we feel comfortable. We don't want a beige frickin' world where everybody's the same and everybody fits in. Sorry, if you cut off your boobs or willy on purpose, then I have pity if you feel like you are transfigured. Your informed choice, your conscience. Yeah, you know, no pity. Okay. I don't think that Kirabel was properly, what's the word? She didn't make a properly informed choice because she wasn't properly counseled. That's the word I was looking for. She was not properly counseled on the long-term effects of this. She was maybe 18 or 19 years old when she made this decision. She was already on this trajectory since she was 16 years old. She'd already made irreversible changes to her body because, I'm sorry, even puberty blockers, it's been proven that even children that were just given puberty blockers are infertile now as adults because this has been going on for a while. No. I do have pity in Kirabel's case and in a lot of the women that Abigail interviewed for her book. I do have pity for them because they were not properly counseled. It was all affirmation model. That's it. It was, you are a boy. You were born in the wrong body. We need to do this. And it's like they don't even stop at puberty blockers because this is what a lot of the trans activists are saying. It's like, no, don't let them go through puberty because, you know, then it's more that they have to have changed in order to transition. So, you know, just give them puberty blockers. And then when they're old enough, they can make the decision. That's not what's happening in the affirmation model. It's like, okay, well, you've been on puberty blockers for 3 years. So now the next step is testosterone. So now you got to have testosterone. And now, okay, well, you know, binding your boobs to like make yourself flat chested is like not working out for you. So we should cut them off. You know, we should do that. So yeah, the counseling is not happening. So I actually do pity these people. I really do pity because they have not made informed decisions. They have not been in the right mental state to make these informed decisions, and they have not been mature enough to realize the lifelong consequences of these decisions. So that's the point. I saw loads of trans people in Thailand. It's always been that way, apparently. They have a term for them. Katui. Oh, yes, but they're not actually... I don't know. I think it's different. I think over there it's different because of the type of work that they sometimes get forced into. I think it is a form of abuse. I think they're very lost children that get hooked on drugs, maybe get born to strippers over there. Yeah, like that. No. No. Gender neutral counselors or therapists is totally not helping, in my opinion. No, it's not. It really isn't. And yet again, counselors that is black and white prescribe people to specific stereotypes. Yep. Did you know there is no such way to say or articulate any neuter condition in original language spoken by Jesus? Think about what this actually says and does to mankind when added. I'm not quite sure I understand this comment, so I'm going to move along. Javier Rue says, and right there I just had an external controversial conversation with myself. External controversial conversation with himself. Shame. Okay. Well, it is 4 minutes to 5 p.m. I want to give you guys a chance to go and relieve yourselves, get a fresh refreshment, and head over to Morning Shot and watch Ramon's show. I'm looking forward to... I know his surname's Kruger. I forget his first name. That author is amazing. I've seen a lot of his interviews. I'm looking forward to seeing another one from him. I do love how he speaks and his ideas, and I'll probably try and get him on here as well. So watch the space. This has been Eleutheria, enlightening South Africa through liberty. And the reason why this is a liberty topic is because the woke doesn't want us to talk about this. And that's freedom of speech. And yeah, it really is. We are taking away women's liberties with all of this woke ideology. So yeah, that's how it ties into Eleutheria. And on that bombshell, I am going to thank you all for being here. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing if you're new. And I will see you tomorrow. Okay. My son wants to sign off. Okay. No. Don't climb up. Because you'll be on camera.
See you tomorrow or next week.
See you tomorrow or next week. How does that make sense?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.